Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Schneider, and I want to welcome you to today's episode 181 of Say What, where we talk about the threats to our children in the public school system, including the radicalization of our nation's schools by those most entrusted for ensuring its integrity. Of course, I'm talking about public school teachers. No, I'm not talking about all teachers, nor even the majority of them. In fact, I'm very mindful that most teachers are honorable public servants doing their best to educate our kids and model good behavior. But having said that, we simply can't ignore the repeated episodes of school officials going off the rails in recent years, which has increased both in frequency and the level of bizarreness. And we might want to laugh some of this off, but for the fact that they're doing it to the impressionable minds of captive children and at taxpayer expense. Now, there are two examples of this kind of bad behavior. The first example is what I call institutionalized bad behavior. This is teachers teaching subject matter that is simply inappropriate, but that the law in the state requires them to teach. What we at POK call the triple threat: comprehensive sexuality education, sexualizing children starting in elementary school, teaching them that they can be the gender of their choice, critical race theory, social emotional learning, which together creates a culture of wokeism. In fact, just to illustrate this point, recently 2 high school girls were told by school officials in Riverside, California, that their T-shirts simply saying "Save Girls Sports" was like wearing a swastika in front of Jewish students.
My name is Sophia Laurie, and I'm a former collegiate athlete. Hearing the stories of what the girls at MLK High School have been put through is beyond disturbing. Taylor and Caitlin simply wore shirts that read "Save Girls Sports. It's common sense. XX does not equal XY." A stand that 2 young girls should have not had to even take. Yet when the adults fail them, when their athletic director refuses to stand up for them, and when the school board neglects their duty to protect them, what other choice do they have? They exercise their First Amendment right. Then the athletic director, Amanda Chan, censor their freedom of speech. I have a little experience with my freedom of speech being violated. Just this year, I won a freedom of speech lawsuit because a government official thought he had the ability to violate my First Amendment right for saying men don't belong in women's sports. So board, be prepared for this lawsuit, because the girls will prevail. Taylor asked, why can the boy on the girls' team wear his trans pride bracelet, but she can't wear her Save Girls Sports shirt? Chan informed her that wearing the Save Girls Sports shirt with a boy on their team was equivalent to wearing a swastikas in front of a Jewish student. This is appalling. The athletic director directly compared the girls' speech to the horrendous killing of 17 million Jews. In what world is it appropriate to correlate girls who just want to have fair and safe sports with a symbol that represents the mass murder of Jews? The athletic director actions warrant immediate reprimand and accountability. So RUSD, let's make this clear. By allowing boys and girls sports, you are telling every girl that the feelings of boys are more important than her safety, her ability to be an athlete, and for her privacy in a locker room. It's time you follow the science. Biology is not bigotry. Physiological reality is undeniable. And no matter how hard females work, males are statistically faster and stronger. Yet you have thrown the protection of safety and rights of girls out the door. Your district is violating Title IX. We will not remain silent while this happens, and I'm looking forward to the girls winning their cases and getting girls' sports back to girls' sports only. Do your job, protect girls.
And that they either had to remove their T-shirts or conceal them. In fact, one of these same students had been removed from the varsity cross-country team to make way for a male transgender student. Of course, that same transgender athlete had been allegedly allowed to wear trans pride bracelets, and the school allows other forms of social messaging around campus, including LGBTQ pride flags. But even worse than institutionalized bad behavior, arguably, is what I call non-institutionalized bad behavior. This is where teachers know what they're doing is clearly wrong, but they do it anyway. And of course, a sad but graphic example of what I'm talking about is crossing the line sexually. Educational sexual misconduct is alarmingly prevalent in our nation's schools. According to a study in Psychology Today, 12% of recent graduates report educator sexual misconduct. At the behest of the United States Department of Education, a researcher named Charles Shakeshaft thoroughly reviewed the existing research literature detailing sexual misconduct in school settings. And in her subsequent report to the DOE, known colloquially as the Shakeshaft Report, she estimated that the prevalence of educator sexual misconduct at the time be almost 10% of the United States student body. Extrapolated to the U.S. population, this means 4 to 5 million children have experienced some form of educator misconduct at the time. And we're seeing a lot of news reports of teachers arrested for having sex with minors. Here's just a few of these examples in the last month. 2 Oregon high school teachers were charged with sexually abusing students. This abuse was reported as early as 2019 to district officials who, according to police, failed to notify the authorities. I guess they wanted to circle the wagons and protect their own. Joseph Hogue, the acting police chief, said the investigators had identified 9 female victims between the 2 men charged from 2019 to 2023. So this has been going on for a long time. In fact, the investigation is continuing and detectives are still fielding calls, according to the police. Then there's a married substitute teacher in New Mexico who's been accused of child sex crimes, reportedly. And the same teacher reportedly asked the principal not to tell her husband, if you can believe it. Michaela Ford, the 30-year-old sub at Estancia High School, was arrested Friday on 7 charges, including criminal sexual penetration and sexual contact with a minor.
Albuquerque substitute teacher arrested, accused of being in a relationship with a minor. Police say Michaela Ford was caught kissing a student. The incident happened this month at Estancia High, where she was teaching. Both the student and Ford were questioned, and days later, police put out a warrant for her arrest. Ford is being held at Torrance County Detention Center, faces several charges, including sexual exploitation of a child. She goes to court on Monday.
Then there's a case of a choir director at a Southern California high school who was greeted by police officers after she agreed to meet a 17-year-old student to engage in sexual acts. According to the Santa Ana Police Department, officers responded to Santa Ana High School around 6 p.m. Friday to a report of a student involved in inappropriate relationship with a teacher. You think? Police said the teen, a senior at the school, reported that he had been having sexual relations with this choir teacher, a 37-year-old teacher, the director of the vocal music program at Santa Ana High School, for around 6 months. And these are just a few examples. Google had at least 10 pages of search stories like these. And then we have the expletive rants from teachers incensed about the recent election results. And we're going to play a couple of clips giving you proof of what I'm talking about. Here's a clip from the Chino Valley Unified School District of a teacher who was disciplined for a teacher who was reprimanded for disciplining a student wearing a Trump hat. Let's hear the video.
At Chino Valley High School, another teacher was recorded saying people voted for a rapist before disciplining a student for wearing a Trump hat.
Turn it off and tell her to go back to your freaking seat now. Go. Take the. Can you send security up? Please, room B205. I have a boy who has a Trump hat on, and I'm not going to tolerate it today. Bye-bye. I don't care if you have a Harris hat or Trump hat. You're out of here.
A Chino Valley Unified spokesperson couldn't say whether that teacher has been placed on leave, but they are investigating.
Yeah, but that's just one example. Here's another example. And this clip, by the way, has gone viral. So I'd be kind of surprised if you've not already heard about this. This is from the Moreno Valley Unified School District. And it captures a clip of a teacher just absolutely losing control and going on this political rant in the classroom. This is 4 minutes long, so buckle up and let's hear this clip.
This shit is not a game. Does that make sense, everybody? Can't emphasize this enough. Can you end up in a concentration camp in your lifetime? Yes. Can you end up with no human rights? Yes. Will it happen to you? Most likely not. Which is a good thing. But has Donald Trump quoted Hitler? Yes. Does he embody some of Hitler's ideas? Yes. But God, I fucking hate the patriarchy. If you're a young man right now in front of me, I hope you hate it too. Because it's not hurting you, it's hurting everyone you love. You get the privilege of not being born with a uterus, so it doesn't affect you. It's affecting everyone else. I'm so sorry, guys. You deserve better. Look at me. You deserve better. Do you have privilege because you live here? Yes. You're not a 5-year-old black girl in Arkansas who's the only African American in her class and whose great-grandfather was lynched to death during the Civil Rights Movement. You got a ton of privilege living in this great state. This election is going to affect billions of people. You're very lucky to be where you're at. Because there is some poor Palestinian boy in Michigan that's going to get beat up today and assaulted and his nose broken. Because Trump said people that fight for the military are stupid cowards and they're idiots. He got drafted into Vietnam and faked medical paperwork to get out of it. Is that someone you idolize? Calls veterans idiots and uses his daddy's money to get us serving in the military? Why did he win the election? A rapist, draft-dodging coward, treasonous scum. Why wouldn't he win? Why wouldn't he win? Why did he win? He won several key states Kamala lost: Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, Nevada, Arizona. These key battleground states. Why did he win them? Look, why did he win them? Why would someone who in Wisconsin would vote for Joe Biden, a geriatric old Republican racist who's running as a Democrat, why would they all of a sudden not vote for Kamala Harris, a young person who has no bad record and who has effective policy for the future? Jariah. She has a vagina, I might use a different word. She has a vagina and uterus, and what else? She has melanin. She's mixed race. I know a lot of Latino men that wish they were white, and they'll never admit it to you. A lot of your fathers, a lot of your uncles, a lot of your grandfathers. God, they want to be white so bad. They never will be. Hate that. I hate Latino men that oppress the women in their family, their own daughters, and they turn around and vote for men that want to oppress them. I love being Mexican American. I love my community. But God, I hate the patriarchy. I'm upset. I'm disappointed. I'm not surprised. That's because back in July when Joe Biden dropped out and Kamala took over, I cried for a week, nonstop. Because I knew what? I knew what? I knew that if we got the best candidate in the entire country, and it was a brown woman, people wouldn't vote for her. I knew that there were white people and non-white people that were men that would show up and would rather vote for literally anybody except someone with a uterus who has melanin. And those female students of color in this room know exactly what I'm talking about. We all deserve better. You now know what this country is. Is our country racist? Yes. Is our country patriarchal? Yes. Can we change it? Maybe. But can you change your immediate surroundings? Yes.
There you go. I don't know which is worse, the teacher's rant or the fact that some students are actually supporting this man. Of course, he has a First Amendment right. He can rant all he wants to his personal circle of influence, but the public schools are places that should be sacrosanct. It's not a place for public political indoctrination of the impressionable minds of school children. When it comes to politics in primary and secondary education, schools should have a strict policy of neutrality. As students mature and start to become independently minded, schools should be places to give voice to different opinions, not settle them, like this man has tried to do. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, this kind of thing is going on in classrooms across the country. And I will remind you again, at taxpayer expense. Well, I could go on, but I'm going to have to leave it there for today. And I just want to remind you, if you like this kind of content, please subscribe and visit our website at pok.org, where we offer a wealth of information and resources to better equip you to be effective advocates of your children in the public school system. Until next time, thanks for joining me on this episode of Say What, and I'll look forward to being with you next time. Bye for now.